All right, we're going to try something ambitious. We are going to squeeze 2.5 million years of human history into the next 5 minutes. It is the incredible story of how one species of ape, once on the very brink of extinction, somehow came to dominate an entire planet. And, get this, build artificial intelligence. So let's dive right in.
I mean, that's the ultimate question, isn't it? We started out as just another animal. Pretty vulnerable, not that many of us. And now we shape the entire globe. So how in the world do we get from there to here? Well, that's the puzzle we're going to try to piece together.
Our story doesn't start with some big bang. It's more like a slow, grinding crawl. For almost our entire existence, this was the speed of life. This is the dawn of humanity.
What's just mind-boggling to get your head around here is the sheer amount of time between these breakthroughs. It took us more than 1.5 million years to get from our very first stone tool to controlling fire. Just let that sink in. Our big migration out of Africa, which feels ancient to us, happened in what was, a relative blink of an eye. And then something totally new pops up. Abstract thought, art, splashed on the walls of caves. These were absolute revolutions, but they unfolded over these vast, unimaginable stretches of time. Think about that for a second. For pretty much our entire time on Earth, the world you were born into was practically identical to the world your great-great-great-grandparents knew. Change was so slow you wouldn't even notice it. So the big question is, what lit the fuse? What kicked everything into high gear? Well, that slow, steady pace was about to be completely shattered by a single, revolutionary idea. It was an idea that would change our relationship with the planet forever and launch the first great revolution in human society. And that idea was farming. It seems simple, right? But it set off this incredible chain reaction. See, once we figured out how to plant seeds, we didn't have to wander around anymore. And that led to food surpluses, having more than you need for the very first time. With a steady food supply, we could finally settle down, and our populations just started to grow. This led directly to the first villages, which became towns, which grew into cities, creating all these brand new jobs: soldier, priest, builder, king. And this new way of living together, well, that's what we call civilization. You can think of it like a new operating system for humanity, one that could run at scale. It's what made everything possible, from writing and empires to money and organized science. We weren't just a species anymore. We were becoming a network. So, after thousands of years of building civilizations, the pace of change starts to pick up again, leading to this period of just explosive growth. This is what we call the Great Acceleration. Let's just watch this happen in real time. Right around the dawn of agriculture, our global population was maybe a couple of million people, just scattered all over the globe. Fast forward 10,000 years to around the time of the Roman Empire. We'd grown 100 times over to 200 million. That's a huge leap for sure, but it was nothing compared to what was coming next. It took almost 2,000 more years to hit this next massive milestone: 1 billion humans on planet Earth. This is right at the start of the Industrial Revolution, and this is where the curve just goes vertical. In just over 200 years, we went from 1 billion people to over 8 billion today. That's more than 8 times the growth in a tiny, tiny fraction of our total history. That right there is acceleration. So what was driving this crazy growth? Well, it wasn't just about having more people. It was about having more power. We went from relying on our own muscles to commanding fossil fuels. We went from simple fires to splitting the atom itself, from the speed of wind to the speed of light with the global internet. We basically amplified our own abilities exponentially. And this incredible journey brings us right here, to today, standing right on the edge of the next chapter in our amazing story. When you step back, the arc of our history is just staggering. We are the species that went from shaping rocks with our hands to reshaping the very building blocks of the universe. We looked up at the moon for thousands of years, and then we went there. This quote, I think, really sums up our modern reality perfectly. For almost all of our history, the Earth shaped us. Now, for better or for worse, we're the ones shaping the Earth. And that leaves us with one final and really profound question. Our journey from ape to AI has given us the power to re-engineer our entire planet and maybe even our own biology. We've mastered the world outside of us. The big question for our future history is, are we ready to master the world within?